guess I decided to do something a little bit different today. Here's my homemade log stand. It's a pretty difficult build, I must say, but it'll work. And I wanted to kind of go over some of my gear with you guys. I get a lot of questions about that. Check it out. Got a whole bunch of them made. Alright, let's start with the PPE first. I use the Stihl X vent helmet. It's nice and light, breathes well out of the top. I've had a couple Bluetooth ones before this too, but honestly, they don't go loud enough for me. When you're mowing the yard or running the wood splitter, you can't hear anything, especially when you're running a timber jack. Dozer's not so bad, you can hear a little bit, but still, who wants to have a helmet flop on their head when you're operating a dozer? For my chainsaw pants, these are arbor wear, and they're the dogwood style. This is my second pair, and the other pair I had, getting a little worn out now, but I've had those for about 4 years. And if you guys are looking for chainsaw pants, I highly recommend these. Amazing. My logging tapes. This one here is starting to get a little worn out down here, so I've taped it up a little bit higher. But having two of these is a must. Gloves. My one tripod. Got another one in the truck. Bungee cord. Whole bunch of chains, wedges. I got my files in here. These Timber Savage files really aren't too bad. These are one of my favorites. I only have one left. They're Swiss made. And then the other files I have in here are Peaford, which those are pretty good files too. I really like them both. But one thing I've always been curious about, I mean, granted I hate cutting with new chains, but I have a brandy new Sugihara chain, 20 inch. I have a brand new 20 inch Oregon chain, EXL, full comp, full chisel. I have a brand new Stihl chain, full comp, full chisel. And I have a brand new Husqvarna X-Cut, full comp, full chisel. And we're going to see out of the box which one cuts the fastest. I never knew these existed until I walked into a saw shop one day and seen that, and I was like, well, this will be good for this video. These here, Madsen wedges, by far my favorite wedges. Hold up great, take a good beating. Got a little tree paint in case I need it for whatever reason. This is one of the clips for holding the harp on the cable. There's a used one here. But that's pretty much it for my gear. And I don't know, maybe you guys are wondering what this is. So Pro here sent me this to try out. They're Bluetooth headphones. And let me tell you, I love these things. You can actually hear what you're listening to when you're using a chainsaw. I haven't worn them in a skidder. I like wearing my helmet in a skidder. I've used them in the dozer. They're fantastic. I've used them for mowing my yard, splitting wood, and just the sound quality is amazing with these. It's really simple. There's one off and on button right here, your volume, and then a multi-function button here. If you read the instructions, it tells you everything you need to know about them. And then to pair them is extremely easy. All you do is you turn them on, go to your Bluetooth settings in your phone, and find the code in the instructions here, and they're paired within like 30 seconds. You don't have to type in anything or go through this and that. It's right now. They come with a white charging cord here, and a jack in case you need to plug it into an iPod or MP3 player or whatever it might be. But we're going to be using those today when we test out these chains. Put a link for these in the description, and any of you that are dealing with a lot of noise, you don't need a hard hat, I would highly recommend these. I guess the last thing I'll show you guys is what I carry in a skidder. I have my old trusty Stihl axe here. The top of it broke off a little while ago, but hasn't caused any issues. I've had this thing for years. Got some clevises just in case a chain pops. These chains on this one pretty well womped. A couple mitts and wedges. Tiny's baby wedge. Broken chain it broke the other day. This here is how I fish a chain underneath the log and pull it through. A Stihl 500i. I think that's pretty much it. Come back here, got some chokers hanging on the back. I put this up pretty high because I'm a pretty tall person. I must say, if Husqvarna did one thing right, it was this jug, the 2-in-1. I like how I can have my files on here, my scrunch. And here you can carry an extra chain. I have a little adjustment screwdriver in there, even though none of my saws have carbs on them anymore, or adjustable carbs, I should say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not too picky about bar and chain oil. I know some people are, but I get 5 gallons at a time to just fill up old jugs. Up there, I got a bunch of different oils. I got some for the dozer, hydraulic oil for the skidder and dozer, engine oil for the skidder, that's a must, diesel, nothing crazy. Bunch of bark I've been hauling around, need to get that cleaned out at some point. Also, these Stihl light bars are by far my favorite. Best investment I could ever make, especially when you get one on a 500. There is one thing I wanted to bring up when you're trying to figure out what size your chainsaw bar is. Every bar is going to have these stamped here. It's going to tell you the size, the drivers, the gauge. So if you ever need to replace a bar and you don't know what size you have or the gauge you have or how many drivers you're supposed to have, take your bar off and it'll tell you somewhere in here what size it is. And also one other thing too, just because your chainsaw comes with a 16-inch bar, 20-inch bar, 24-inch bar, doesn't mean that's the only bar for that saw. You can put a 24-inch bar on a saw that comes with a 16-inch bar. They're replaceable. You just have to make sure you match up the correct size. You just have to make sure that the numbers are the same, but you can have different length bars, if that makes sense. All right, we're going to start out with a brand new Oregon chain out of the box. Nothing's done to it. Do you guys have fun when they're all tangled up like this? It's pretty simple. The main thing to do when they're tangled up like this is get them inside out, so the teeth are on the inside, and your driver's on the outside, you get 2 loops left, and just hold the 2 loops and flip it. On this Tree Monkey 500, I've been running a 8 rem sprocket on here with a 20 and 24 inch bar. All right, first one up is the Oregon. Just so you guys can see, it's the 72 EXL 072. It's full comp, full chisel. Brand new out of the box, nothing done with it. So that one was the Oregon. Now we'll try the Husqvarna X-Cut. If you guys want to see a difference from full skip to half skip to full comp, I could probably do one of those too. I have all those, not on me, but I do have all those chains as well. For me personally, I like full comp for cutting in the woods, cutting trees down. And then I like full skip for bucking logs on the landing. And the reason for that is your teeth on your chain tend to get a lot duller, a lot faster on the landing after you skid the logs out. You know, you drag them on the ground and dirt gets stuck in the bark, and you go through a couple little mud holes, and then they're all covered up in mud, which is dirt. And that's the primary reason why I always have 2 saws on me as well, because I have one just for buck on the landing with a full skip, and then one just for cutting the trees. It saves a lot of time sharpening when you're in the woods. So, but here's the Husqvarna X-Cut. That one seemed to do pretty good. It's hard to tell. They're all pretty close. Those listener protectors really do a good job. I think they're better than my helmet, to be honest with you. Next up, brand new Stihl chain. These tests always have so many factors in them. It doesn't matter what you're cutting. Every cut in the woods is a little bit different. You might run into a little knot here and there. I mean, even cutting tie logs that are cut up in the blocks, you know, put together, it's the same way. Those all have knots in them at some point in time. So there is always, you know, the factor of the wood grain being a little bit different. It might be a little bit of a knot here and there, something to throw your test off just a little bit. But that's why I'm doing a few different cuts, just because I'm trying to at least get it somewhat equal. But I've been most curious about. The Sugihara, or Sugihara, whatever you want to call it. After this, I'll compare the two. This ported 500 by Tree Monkey, then the other ported 500 by Mike. Rattler's Work Saws. Both these guys do phenomenal work. And the video is not intended to take any shots at anyone, because I know the work Mike does, and I know the work Scott does, and they both build amazing saws. I've never had any issues with either one. And that's what's fun when you have people port chainsaws for you. Everyone builds a little bit different, and you get a little bit different result every time. So last one up, the Sugihara chain. Well, it's pretty disappointed with that Sugihara chain. I had to let out the throttle and give it a little pressure to make sure my saw wasn't going to blow up. This is at the cut, just so you guys can see. It's not dulled or anything like that, but it needs something to help it cut. Alright, so this is a Tree Monkey 500. I switched it from the 8-pin to 7, running 24-inch, full comp, full chisel, and I have the rakers filed for softwood because I've been cutting hemlock with it. Here we're cutting tulip. And there's the other one, and I'll run the same bar, same chain on it. And I'll do 3 cuts. I'll just let the saw cut the first one, and then the second and third one I'll probably lay into it a little bit. Stihl 500i, Tree Monkey. Alright, now we're on the Mike's ported 500. Put the 7-pin sprocket in there, put the 8 back on that one. See what it has. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope it helps some of you out when it comes to picking chains. Personally, until I see the times, I'll put them here in the end, but until I see the times, I mean, Oregon Stihl and Husqvarna X-Cut are right there with each other, and that Sugi Hurry, well, I wasn't too impressed with that, but we'll see what the times say. So I hope you guys have a blessed day, and thanks for watching.